Hello everybody, hi, hope you have a great day everyone. This is Queena, welcome to episode number 40. Let's get into it, yeah. JPMorgan Chase analysts say prolonged crypto bear market is scaring off institutions. That means prices of Bitcoin and overall cryptocurrencies have actually rallied up, a bit. And seems like some people looking at the technical charts are basically saying, it could be at the bottom. But yet, JP Morgan came out with a report, right, on Tuesday, which is December 18, that says, right, the crypto bear market is actually driving away institutional investors. And why they say that is basically they say there's a decreasing, open interest in the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. It's basically the fiat futures market, right, on Bitcoin futures. They're basically using fiat to trade. They're basically saying there are lower interest in that. But the thing is that I didn't agree fully because you cannot just look at this as one of the indicators, but I think in fact what's happening is that the institutions are moving away from the trading of this futures of fiat based on fiat, right, to actually the physical Bitcoin trading. I think that's where the interest of the institutions are actually going now. In fact, yesterday, right, we just report, and in fact, crypto research firm DIAR, they have an analysis claiming that institutional investors have turned to actually higher liquidity over-the-counter physical Bitcoin trading, like those operated by Coinbase. That's what, that was happening. So no surprise probably that, the Bitcoin futures trading on the CBOE actually is down because these institutions have actually moved money away, right? And they're looking to actually, buy into the actual Bitcoin. That's my take. Now, the big short, former IMF economist finally closes year-old Bitcoin shorts. Yeah, this is the summary of it is basically a very prominent guy. His name is Mark Dow, right? He had long made an unpopular bet, right, to bet on shorting Bitcoin futures, and that since the peak of Bitcoin in early 2018. But he has held on to that short position from then till now, so it's almost 1 year, and he's finally closing that short position now. Now, why would he do that? He in his commentaries, which we're going to go later, basically he's not bullish, but it could be that, right, he really see a bottom is going to form, and then he could be also have inside news because he was former IMF economist, so I believe he has a lot of connection, right? He knows people who in a higher power, so kind of knew something is going on, I believe, right? That's my personal take. So that's why these prices might be the lowest, and then soon, not long after this, we might really see the prices rally up again because the institutions have gathered enough. Former IMF economist and Paro senior risk trader Mark Dow made an unpopular bet not long thereafter. A year ago, which is after it peaked at 19,000 plus, Bitcoin, after that he made an unpopular bet, which is to short, right? He entered a short position and rode his intuition all the way to the bank, finally closing the position today. A big part of his intuition was the launch of Bitcoin futures trading, and this is the physical trading, yeah. And so let's see. So he said, around the time when he opened his short position, right? He wrote, first, Bitcoin is volatile. Its annualized volatility is over 100%, implying daily moves up and down of over 6%. Second, Bitcoin exchanges are open 24/7, but Bitcoin futures follow regular Globex hours. Third, the exchanges have integrity risk, which is Mt. Gox just not long ago, and the futures have 20% collars. These last two factors increase gap versus discontinuous pricing risk for those who trade the futures. Even though I suspect these factors represent more risk for long positions in Bitcoin futures than for short ones, yeah. But in the latest tweet, he said, today I say goodbye to the Bitcoin short, which is then sad, So basically, he quote on further to say, I'm done. I don't want to write this thing to zero. I don't want to try to squeeze more out of the lemon. I don't want to think about it. It seemed like the right time, right? So that's basically what I take. I think basically why he closes out the short position is because, right, he's probably going to long now, right? He'll take his profit and he's probably going to long now. That's my take, yeah. And CNBC's Brian Kelly says the Bitcoin bottom is almost in, but he is still short. Again, I think this is the thing is this, right? Really, I think look at what the rich are doing and not so much what they are saying, right? So he's closing out his short position. That tells you something. And but whereas Brian Kelly is on the flip side, though, he said Bitcoin bottom price is almost in, but he is still short. So maybe he's still trying to catch a little bit lower, below 3,000, before he decided to stop short, right? But no one knows, yeah. So CNBC's Bitcoin Uber book, Brian Kelly, the founder and CEO of digital asset investment firm, has reportedly capitulated and is now holding a net short position against top digital assets. In a recent interview on CNBC's Power Lunch, Kelly revealed that he has been running a long-short strategy for Bitcoin and that is currently sitting net short despite his belief that the bottom is almost in. We run a long-short hedge fund, meaning at any given time we can be short Bitcoin. It doesn't mean we don't like it anymore, but these are markets and we need to trade the markets that we have. This may come to a surprise to many who follow CNBC, as Kelly has been advocating for the purchase of Bitcoin for the greater part of the year, all without previously indicating that he could be selling short at any moment. Kelly even recently said that Bitcoin should be at least a small part of an investor's portfolio. So then, as we previously reported, some investors are leveraging CNBC analysis as a counter trade indicator, which at the time turned out to be 95% accurate. Therefore, traders that are subscribed to this school of thought might see rightly being short as a good time to consider a long position, right? So, yeah, that's why. Yes. But yeah, basically, again, don't trust everything that the rich say on main media. That's what we have learned, right, from previously. Last year, both Jamie Dimon have said that, from JPMorgan have said that, Bitcoin is a fraud. But then, a few days later, his firm is actually buying long on the Bitcoin position. Yeah. And similarly for Goldman and also George Soros, they have basically said, it will crash to zero. It's a bubble. And, similarly, not long months after, George Soros Family Fund have approval to trade cryptocurrencies, and Goldman Sachs, are launching a trading desk, right, to basically investing time and money into this asset class to offer, Bitcoin for their clients. So what does that mean, right? Galaxy Digital's Novogratz does not expect Bitcoin price to sink much more. Now, Mike Novogratz, he was an ex-Goldman Sachs partner and a founder of crypto merchant bank Galaxy Digital. Of course, yeah, you can say that, he's in this business, so it makes sense for him to, talk up the price. But then again, could be true, but then again, he was a Goldman Sachs, partner, so he does have connections, definitely, right? But of course, he said, he is, how do I say this? He doesn't really come up with a price, to say that, when will Bitcoin, go up again. He doesn't really know, and he also doesn't think that, he basically, he's quite conservative here. It says that he projects Bitcoin price will stay between 3,000 and 6,000 in the foreseeable future, right? But he's very long-term positive on the trend of Bitcoin, but just that he does not know when prices will really, peak again to its maybe old high of 20,000. Yeah, he doesn't want to say that. Yeah, but yeah. And former Goldman Sachs trading executive bullish on cryptocurrencies. Again, this guy whose name is, let me just say, Gregg, he had 18 years experience in Goldman Sachs, right? And he was former global head of electronic trading at Goldman Sachs. He basically, equate Bitcoin to like the current early days of electronic equity trading. So there's very, very early days still for basically this market. That's what basically he is saying, yeah. Yeah. And Tim Draper, which is the famous venture capitalist who is very positive and who has actually invested money himself into cryptocurrencies. He was also the early investors into Tesla and Skype, right? Who's, yield him very good returns now. So he was also accurate in forecasting the Bitcoin price will reach 10,000 in 2017. In 2014, he made that prediction and it came true. So he is really famous, and his prediction was Bitcoin will hit 200,000 by 2022. That's basically his prediction. And the latest news is that he has invested money again into a Bitcoin payment processor called OpenNode. Yeah, and basically this will make the Bitcoin payment for business instant and risk-free, generating a revenue of 1% for transactions. So very low fees, right, versus the Visa and Master now, which is like 3 to 4%, right? Yeah, but basically so he's investing in this company. Of course, he's wanting this to really, what is he predicting? That means it's going to foresee definitely mainstream adoption by merchants and also users in the future. That's why he do that, right? There was a separate news also that basically said that, yeah, in fact, overall, venture capitalist investments in this field is very, very bullish. They have invested total about 3.9 billion, right, in just the first 9 months of this year, which is 3 times the amount that they invested last year, despite the bear market now, So this just really tells you, right, where are the rich and the people who are smart, where are they placing their money, right? I mean, I really don't believe that they place their money in an asset that they would go to zero, right? Or will really, not do well in the future. So that's really what I think. Yeah. Next up, Binance Labs launches 8 blockchain startup. Now, Binance is the largest crypto exchange by trading volume, and they not only want to be a crypto exchange, right? They really have the ambition to become like the Google of cryptocurrency world. So so he has the vision to say, in the future people will say Binance that crypto coin or something like that, and so they are doing many multiple things really just to develop the whole industry, right? Develop a whole ecosystem. And he has invested, right, in new startups, right, and 8 startups in the latest project. And among others, right, this is basically what we can see: name building a secure private future for the internet, Path, which is a plate for crypto, SafePal, which is the easiest and most affordable hardware wallet, Injective Protocol, the new standard for decentralized exchange. So Ethereum, EOS, Tron, right, basically have to beware of new competition, Taurus, frictionless logins for dApps, Archeolabs, the easiest way to get insights from blockchain data. So I think that's data analysis. Deox, Teespring for prediction market. So that will compete with Augur, and Decode Gusto for crypto native companies. So this is basically, again, right, Binance being such a big company, they are, by the way, they made news too because they made more profit than Deutsche Bank, which is a 180-year-old company, whereas they are like just 2 years old. Yeah, they make more profit in Q2 of this year than Deutsche Bank, so that just tells you the kind of potential. And despite we are in this early stage, but then Binance being such a new market, of course they have a lot of business, but then they still continue to pour money into this space, right? Basically very committed for the long term. On the regulation side, right, France rejects cryptocurrency-friendly tax amendments. I basically see this as, yes, they are basically, they want to attract more crypto company to their shore, but then, of course, when it comes to taxation, because, the government really need the money, they're not going to, basically relax any of the, they're not going to lower taxation, basically, for cryptocurrency transaction. That's what it is, yeah. So they want to propose a 30% flat tax for cryptocurrencies, but currently it's at 36.2%. Is basically being, shot down, yeah. And Russians to be allowed ISO investments up to 9,000 per year. This is basically another law just to make sure the normal people, the not rich people, right, or the not high net worth, individuals, the more normal individuals, basically trying to limit, how much they can invest in, initial cryptocurrency offerings. Basically, that's what this is about. The only limit, per person is 9,000 per year, but per project is only $1,500. So that's really actually very little when you think about it. But interestingly, this restriction doesn't apply to people who are accredited. So many high net worth individuals and private banking clients definitely are not in this category. They are not subject to this kind of constraints. So again, right, my thoughts is really that cryptocurrency was meant to be a people's money, but really it's increasingly and becoming more and more to be only the rich money, right? So the other people, which is the more normal layman on the street, right, should really just take this opportunity to buy into the dips. That's really my opinion. At least then you can have some exposure, yeah. But that's again my own personal opinion, yeah. And thank you so much for watching, and hope you have a great day, everyone. And again, thank you. God bless.